Hey, Hazard from Hazard Reviews here for well, basically a quick little review of the first season of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Not gonna do anything fancy like I did last week with Brave New World. I just figured this time I could just go a bit smaller and you know save my time because I'm working on bigger projects uh, working on the scripts for bigger projects as I'm recording this. But anyway, so this is the second or slash third if you can count the Iron Groot shorts, animated series based on the MCU and not connected to What If as well. Um, and the first thing we've ever had, and well, first time the MCU has dabbled doing anything with Spider-Man since No Way Home. Um, and going into this, I was optimistic, and I thought, you know what, it would be interesting to see what they can do with a different reality. And when that Marvel doesn't have to the thing is with Marvel Studios don't have more control when it comes to using Spider-Man. When it comes to TV, when they do compared to the films, which because the Spider-Man film franchise is still owned by Sony. Whether or not Sony is probably tempted considering now to sell all their Spider-Man assets back because of how their uh their films, bar this Into the Spider-Verse series, the live action stuff is absolutely garbage. Um, but yeah, going into this, I was thinking, okay, let's see what we can do with this. And you know what? All I can say is if you've been disappointed if you're not a fan of Captain America Brave New World, if you have Disney Plus, I definitely think you should watch this. This is honestly really good. I mean, it's hard not to be impressed with it. I mean, it has its own unique style. I mean, considering the animation is in style of the old Spider-Man comics from the '60s when Stan Lee and Steve Ditko first created him. Um, but yeah, I think everyone's pretty much mentioned how they like the style of the CG animation and all that. Um, in terms of story, this is going back to the basics. Obviously, you see, um, this is actually the first time we actually see in the Marvel Studios era that we see Peter Parker get bit by a spider and gain his powers. But it's handled very differently, obviously, because this is an alternate reality. It's shown that I mean, he is still going to school, but this time as he's arriving at Midtown High, Midtown's being attacked by a symbiote monster with Doctor Strange defending the school. And a spider comes through the portal that the symbiote came from, and bites Peter Parker in the neck and gains his abilities. And which is, I like that and appreciate them going in different directions. I mean, it's an alternate reality, do something different. And I don't know, well, I don't know. Has Doctor Strange been involved in Peter Parker or any Spider-Man gaining his powers in the comics? I don't know. You'll have to let me know. Then flash forward to a few months later, we obviously get the big change, which is it's not Tony Stark who's Peter Parker's mentor in this show, it's Norman Osborn. And you know what? I'm just going to say this. Norman Osborn's probably one of my favorite character in this, and how well they portray that the writers of the show handle him, along with Harry. They're both handled really well, and I found, you know, the relationship between Norman and Peter really well done, and obviously now there are hints of Green Goblin to come, and there are supposed to be for two more seasons, so yeah, it's probably going to happen. So when the time comes to that, I think the fact they're building this relationship, and they as a as a team, and in particular, including Harry as well, because they Harry's also helping Peter on his missions in this. When the time comes when Norman and Harry come at odds against Peter as Spider-Man, it's going to be really effective, you know. But of course, it's not just Norman and Harry who are in this. You also got Otto Octavius, who is mainly a side villain in this. But again, it much like and much like Osborn, they do hint of Doc Ock as well. Um, so we'll have to, yeah, the time will come with that. I reckon. I reckon we'll probably get Doc Ock or Octavius become Doctor Octopus, probably in the second season, in my view. But basically, I think but a lot of the villains actually make their utilized here that haven't really been utilized in the films. I mean, Mark Gagan, aka Scorpion, was teased at the end of Homecoming, but we finally get it here, and it's effective. I mean, for what it is, I really do like the fight between him and Peter. Um, but I think the biggest thing that I like, I mean, it's not just the fact that Norman Osborn is Peter Parker's mentor in this, but you know, a lot of the other choice of characters that obviously, I mean, I know this is an alternate reality, so that so they're allowed to do whatever they want with bringing characters that you haven't really heard from. But I mean, I have not really known too much about Lonnie Lincoln, aka Tombstone, or Nico Manora, who I know was in the Runaways Netflix series or whatever that show was on. I don't know. I haven't checked in a while, but they were really good characters, and I really grown to like them. And knowing where their comic counterparts will lead to is interesting. And I I do f- and I do kind of feel it in particular with Nico, who is Peter's best friend in this. I think it's obviously it'll be interesting to see where they develop that relationship in particular because I don't know if they're gonna I don't know if Mary Jane Watson will show up in this. There is talks that the second season will involve Gwen Stacy, so maybe they could add a bit more of a interesting. Maybe they could do something with that. But I really am more. I really like to explore Peter and Nico's relationship. They're really they're nice. They're a good friend, good team. Um, and you obviously get to see some characters from the main MCU show up in this. I mean, you see Thaddeus Ross, you see Tony Stark, you see Stephen Strange. But Strange is the only one who actually interacts with Spider-Man. Um, yeah, it's all handled well. Daredevil's in this too. Charlie Cox is. I mean, he doesn't have to do anything really. I think Charlie Cox. He is Matt Murdock, and I'm looking forward to see how the Daredevil Born Again series when that comes out in a couple of weeks, actually. Um, in fact, all the actors do a good job. I mean, Hudson Fames, I was really a huge fan of him with his when he voiced Spider-Man in the zombie episode of What If, and given a full series here, he continues to amaze me, and I'm really impressed with his performances. Um, Coleman Domin Domingo, I think that's his name, who plays Norman Osborn, is also effective, as is Zeno Robinson, who plays Harry. Um, a lot of these actors are all professional voice actors and who I like in other things, and they continue to do well here. I mean, you can have Robert Atkins Downs, Roger Craig Smith, Travis Willingham, Mike Wingert, Josh Keaton, Carly, Carrie Walgan. They're all really good, and I'm glad to hear that. Oh yeah, another thing they do show photos of Uncle Ben in this, which is good, and Peter talks about him a lot at certain points when he's not in a good mood. So yeah, it's effective that they are including elements within the Spider-Man universe that they don't talk about the movies because we've seen them so much, but they're doing it here where they can sort of do it in an alternate reality. It makes sense. Um, yeah, the I think the I think the one thing I'm going to be a little bit be very picky of it is the final episode, and I like the final episode. I think it's a really good episode. Um, but the problem I have is just how many plot threads have been established in this episode that they're going to develop on in the next couple of seasons. And I don't know. I don't know if some will be put on the side in season two or fully explored in it. I don't know, but you got. I mean, some I can understand, like finding out who in amongst Oscorp was feeding information to Daredevil. That I like. That I don't mind, but it does lead to the fact that Peter Parker's gonna have to find out about this later. Uh, uh, yeah, I'm interested in that. It's gonna be interesting with that. They do have, they do show Nico has powers like a comic book counterpart. Again, that's gonna have to be developed a bit. The sim the symbiote monster from the episode one, we see where that ends up, and whether or not I think this is actually going to be um referencing in the recent Marvel Spider-Man 2, the Marvel Spider-Man 2 video game could be the case, but I don't know. You gotta, again, there's that, and then, oh gosh, I'm not gonna explain what it is, but when when it's the final scene we see Aunt May um in season one, and she's going to see someone. That is going to get interesting. That is really going to get interesting. Um, because this plot thread was something that was overarching in the Mark Webb films, and it didn't really handle that well. I don't know what they're going to do with this, but see how things go. You know. But in the end, I do enjoy this show. I think it was a really well done, and I think any Spider-Man fan will enjoy it. I think, yeah, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is a good start, and can't wait to see where the show goes within the next couple of seasons with all these plot threads. And they said they're going to bring Gwen Stacy. They said they're going to Vincent D'Onofrio. I think will has said he's going to be as Kingpin at some point in the show. So yeah, only time will tell. But I'm giving this a night for season one, a 9 out of 10 has stars. Good start. Can't wait to see where it goes from here. So, in terms of what's next, well, hopefully I'll get a bigger There's a special project I'm working on. Well, one of many, I think. But my next big review is going to be very interesting. Yeah, we'll get to that when we get to that. But in the meantime, House of Massive Users out, and I shall see you next time. Ciao.